Okay, bud.
Here we go. Another day, another show.
A day, another dollar.
Beautiful day in Buffalo.
Who's
Beautiful
paying
day.
us, by the way? Nobody pays us.
Beautiful day out there.
We'll flow?
I guess we'll start with sports, right?
Yeah, we're down.
Bills had everybody on the field today but two, including Tre'Davious White.
Isn't that great?
That's huge. Now that doesn't mean everybody's playing, but it's the road to recovery there.
So, who were the guys that were out?
Kumaro did not practice today, and now for the life of me, I can't think of the
The
other.
corner? Benford?
No, he practiced.
He did. Wow.
It was Kumaro and one other guy did not practice. Well, why can't I think of it now?
Yeah, I can't either.
Tre'Davious was on the field. Benford
Edmonds.
was on the field. Edmonds, Jordan Phillips, Dawson Knox.
So there's a guy used to work here in television. He's now works the Pittsburgh scene. And he tweeted out that a well-placed source here in the Buffalo media said that Jordan Poyer would have played last week if we were playing a better team, meaning he could rest for Kansas City. And, of course, the Pittsburgh fans were going wild. And, people were saying, look, you do this all the time. You make guesses, and you say, look, I could probably get him in there, and he might get re-injured, or I can wait 10 days, and
First off,
we're playing Kansas City. I mean, who
who,
cares?
who?
Yeah,
And
we sucked for years. You didn't
no,
care.
but they also kept Tremaine Edmonds out because they wanted to rest him. It's not any disgrace to Pittsburgh or a put down.
Right.
It's they made the comment, and this a source. You didn't need a source. They said
You said you rested him.
no. Well, they said if it was a playoff game, both guys could have played,
They'd be in.
and that's the long haul of the season. There's no boo hoo hoo or my God, a shot at Pittsburgh's
Yeah.
credibility.
Well, that's
No.
Pittsburgh. That's what we get.
No, and they can hang if they want to hang that on their lock. Who cares? But he's got severely bad ribs, and But all we heard all week is this rookie and Pickett. He's going to start. He's this, and he's a first round pick. Well, now it's boo hoo hoo because they didn't win.
Not only didn't they win, they were embarrassed.
Well, they got beat. They got beat solid by a better football team, and
Yep.
God, we've gone through that. And there was no, I don't know, this probably some guy wiping toilets, but
I saw that guy when he was wiping toilets.
I don't know a better team. Every team in this league can win on any Sunday.
Boy, we know that.
But I think the situation said we got to rest these guys. And you might not see Poyer against Kansas City.
Well, you might not. You might
And
not.
they have to be ready for January football.
That's right.
And do it in lieu of not losing games, but
being ready for late in the year. So I got something that.
cry me a tear of Schittsburg.
So one of our advisors to the show, although he doesn't watch us, Tommy John Mullen, sent something out that I thought it really made me feel better. And what do I mean by that? Well, look, we can go into Kansas City and lose just like anybody can, right? We're a great football team, and even if we get everybody back, we could lose. Like as an example, the Raiders beat them. However, a holding call on the field goal that was wide was not a pull and push. It was nothing. And some shit stick, diaper man from the backfield threw a flag and it changed the whole game. All right. Well, let's say nothing happens, something happens, it doesn't, we lose. These statistics made me feel really better. Tom, you haven't heard this, okay? Now, the number one seed after Sunday, number one seed. If the Bills beat Kansas City, the number one seed in the AFC, 68% of the time will be the Bills. Okay? Baltimore 9% and KC 6%. So basically, you get out of there with a win. If the whole rest of the season doesn't fall apart, you're going. Okay. But if Kansas City wins, which could certainly happen, I like this stat because we're right there. Kansas City is 35% for the number one seed. The Bills 30%, because there's a lot of games left. Baltimore 13%.
And strength of schedule.
Well, that's what's all in there. So the running models. Now, what happens with the Super Bowl? Okay, if the Bills win, the Bills' percentage to win the Super Bowl is 29%, and Kansas City only 5%. If Kansas City wins, the Bills drop from 29% to 21%, but KC only goes from 5 to 10. So if KC wins Super Bowl, it still says The models say 21% Bills, KC 10%. Now, I know their models. I know the thing, but as a longtime Bills fan, I think what they're saying on the radio and what you're hearing all week is, oh my God, if we lose to Kansas City, that's it.
Right,
No, it's not it. Okay, we beat them last year in week 5, and they still got home field advantage against
Well,
them.
and just to say a ridiculous statement, years ago, but it's more true today. If my aunt had a twanger, she'd be my uncle.
Yeah, but today she could be both.
And now today she could. But also, we were the first team to get to the Final Four in hockey, winning the Vezina Trophy.
1980.
That did not go on to win the Stanley Cup. Anyways, having said all of that,
It just made me feel better. It just made me feel better.
It's a game in the scheme of things. When you watch that game, LA moved up and down the field on them. Now, some people have made comments. Kelsey scored 4 touchdowns, right? On a couple of them, he was wide open.
Please.
True. But
Nobody.
on a couple of them, Mahomes is running all around the field.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, guys are going to leave
They're going to get open.
to stop because he could run. And one of the reasons running all around the field is you got to be so careful how you hit him. God forbid it's not roughing. That's what the NFL has created.
Yeah.
Right?
They really have.
And he's perfect for the rules as they are today.
Yeah.
Yes, on some of them, Kelsey wanted to the back of the end zone. He's wide open. But some of that's kudos to the ability of, what's his name? They know who he is and where he is.
Yeah.
But other than, I do say this. Why isn't he jammed at the line? I would like someone to explain
Somebody's
this
got
to
to
me.
tell me.
Nobody jams him at the line, including us.
Go back to 13 seconds. We let him walk down the field. But here's
no
what I'd
idea
say.
why, and I'd like that answer.
I literally believe, I remember we used to play a lot of football up at Maryville on the field, and I mean, it shouldn't be that easy. You're right about 2 of them, but 2 of his touchdowns, he walked off the line of scrimmage, untouched, and nobody looked at him, and he went in wide open to the end zone touchdown.
Right.
That is ridiculous.
No, it is, and Gronk too.
Yeah.
Like, how is 85, I think 85, right?
Yeah.
89, 87.
I don't know.
How is
Who
he
cares?
open
Hate him.
all the time? And part of it is why they're so goddamn good.
Well, and Gronk was a little bit different because Gronk, even if you were on him, he could just wrestle that ball away from
right.
you. That guy was a monster.
And I think kudos to Kelsey.
Mhm.
All right, he
Well,
reads.
he's not a ball.
No, he reads the field like a quarterback.
Yeah.
So like he kind of says, I think if I do this, Patrick will see this. They're on the same
Well, that's sure.
wavelength.
And they've been playing this is the 6th year together.
Right, and
I mean-
and kudos to them. But
By the
I
way-
don't know why he's not bumped off the line.
You got to hammer him. By the way, 6 years, Mahomes has been in Kansas City, 5 for Josh here. He's never been a home dog, and their Bills are favored by 3 there.
Yeah, that is something. And
It's amazing.
let's face it, people were moving on them, and they got 3 corners out of the game.
Yeah.
That did not practice. Excuse me. Today they did get a rookie back today, who's been out since the beginning of the season,
Okay.
McDuffie or something. But that's whether
Still rookie.
here or there. I think
What do you think? We'll go back to the Pittsburgh game, too.
as Josh moves the ball, the Bills go. And if Josh is clicking,
They're
it's
not
going to be a hell of a
unstoppable.
football game. It's going to be hard to,
Well, outscoring.
and they're going to move the ball too. It's, we're not going to win this game with 17 points. You're going to have to get about
31,
30, 35 points
Yeah.
to win this football game and go from there.
Although I
But,
think our D is much better than they were last year, healthy or unhealthy, because of that pass rush.
oh my God,
Getting in there with 4 is
But-
huge.
We also heard from our local gendarme,
Yeah, they're wonderful.
our media, that is, not gendarme, that,
That would be a
not
police
enough weapons, not enough weapons, not enough,
Enough weapons.
Well, that front 4 and those acquisitions on D
Yeah.
are weapons,
They sure are.
and gets the ball back in Josh's hands.
Well,
and
plus,
stuff.
no weapons. I see we've been clamoring for Shakir and Hodgins, and we saw that they can play football. So
Yeah,
we got a lot of
sure
weapons. Ryan Mullen, another advisor to the show, tells me today that OBJ is in town. He was kidding saying he was at Duff's. He's not at Duff's, but he is in town. So who knows? He's probably visiting. I personally, I'll pass on that.
I don't see where he helps us.
And he doesn't help us. He's only going to be here for the last 4 to 5 weeks. You could argue, boy, he got them over the hump in LA, yada yada. I don't know. He's going to want a multi-year contract. He's always hurt.
Um,
I don't see it.
are you taking a peek at him in case, God forbid, something happens down the road?
Yeah.
You're doing your due diligence. I don't know.
That could be, but they're also he's on a little tour right now, so he's going to the Giants. He's going to a few teams, San Francisco. So basically, he's going to sell himself to the highest bidder pretty soon.
Right, and I don't think that's a bidding thing we want to get into.
I do not want to get into it. I'm sorry.
He should be talking to us, not us talking to him. You know what I mean? He should want this road show.
Oh, he kind of does. I mean, he keeps talking to Miller, and Miller's selling him on the city and the fans.
And I don't
But again,
see...
I think I don't think he comes in because of a cancer. I think he's more mature now.
No doubt. And
It's the money.
And the locker room wipes that out anyway, right?
Yeah, they'll step on it.
Does he? Do we take Gabe Davis? I mean, do we? Shakir?
No.
Oh, okay, you're going to a rookie, but rookie in this league, rookie receivers play.
They play.
I don't know.
Well.
I don't see. Other than if something was long term with Dawson Knox, by the way, he practiced today.
Yeah, it's good to see.
I don't know. We'll have to just watch
We'll
that
see.
one.
I'm
and
just
see what
saying.
happens.
Personally, I say we pass, but that's me.
I agree. I would tend to say the same thing.
Nice to watch the rookies and some of these kids last week. I was telling you, I think I texted you or called you that night after the game Sunday. That they schooled Elam a little bit, and they caught 10 out of 13 targets, and he did pick one. What I love from the kid is, I'm not saying he's a bum, by the way. What I love from the kid is he gets the interview and he says, "Look, I got the pick, but I'm not resting my head on it." He goes,
Right.
"I didn't have a good game." He goes, "And I can be better, and I will be better." I love that attitude.
And
That's what we draft.
Also,
Don't tell me that you can't guard.
No.
A lot of people guard. He was way off.
No, also in the NFL, and there was a lot of lay back and let them have those catches. They were run some clock. We got a big lead.
Well, no, there's no question. That was second half. What I didn't like is the first quarter and a half when it was a game. Man, they were just all bingo, 7 yards, 8 yards, 12 yards, 13 yards, all the way down the field. Now, I don't know the defense, but I think I'm vindicated in saying that he got schooled a little bit because his interview, he went on and on and on
Right.
how he did not play the way he can play. So anyway, I just what I wanted to bring that up for is because I love that attitude, and that's who Bean drafts.
Right.
That kid is going, don't worry about me, and I'm coming back. I love that.
It is very, and I am going to say too, though, it is very tough to play corner in this league
Oh, it's brutal.
with these rules and stuff. And it's if you're an accurate quarterback, you're going to throw completions in this league.
Yeah.
And it's going to be on somebody.
Well, and that's why they're 66, 67% completion with the good quarterback.
Right. And
I mean,
it's
that's-
going to
you're
be
getting
on somebody,
2
whether
out of
they're a
every
good
3.
corner or not.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought the kids all stepped up. The running game was better than I thought live. I was watching it live going, oh my God, another 1 yard cloud of dust. But we broke a few and actually did a little bit better. So that was good to see. Of course, Josh, and by the way, I'm done with Taiwan, Japanese, Chinese Jones. Come on.
He's the one that did not practice today.
Oh, there you go.
Him and
good.
Kumaro did not practice today.
We don't punt, and when we kick off, it should be out of the end zone. I don't need Taiwan Jones. That's a wasted spot.
Again, I don't want to. I thought the same thing, but the wind was pretty horrific, and I guess he had a hard time with the wind on that one.
He did, but why was he back there? Is my question.
Well, they thought they'd go with a vet and not the rookie, but he quickly changed that and went right to
changed
the
that,
rookies.
and of course, Josh makes up for it and throws a 98-yard touchdown into the wind.
By the way, Shakir said that he had caught punts over in the stadium during the week, and that one that he let go,
Yeah.
he goes, I wasn't sure, and I just kept hearing the coach say, make smart plays.
Make
So
smart plays.
he goes, the idea is to catch the ball. But it was just the way the wind was.
No, I got it. The wind was better than dropping the ball there.
Right. That's where an experienced guy like McKenzie,
Yeah.
even Crowder,
Hyde. Yeah.
they know and trust themselves.
They know
in it.
when to grab it. So anyway, just a great time. I would say kudos, at least in my section, in the Reds clubs. We had a lot of Steeler fans didn't have any problem. Maybe if it was tighter, it would have been a problem, but we blew them out. They were just kind of laughing.
By the way, going back to that play for a second, I was just listening to a breakdown of it. We start on the goal line, 3rd and 8, whatever the hell it was from the 2, whatever.
Yep.
And
3rd and 10 actually.
he was double team. Both Gabe and Diggs were both doubled,
That's right.
and he blew by that. So people in Pittsburgh won't be saying, "What are we doing?" No, they
No.
were guarding him.
No, they were guarding. In fact, I was talking to our friend Pete, and he goes, "He had single coverage." I said he
No.
did not. In fact, we kept 7 in the block because we're in the
Right.
end zone, and if we
Yeah.
get a safety, we're screwed.
That's the ability of this kid with his arm and his
And he Gabe Davis blew right through the two of them. My God,
unreal. And
he's back.
Shakir is who I was listening to, and he said being on the field, he couldn't believe it. He saw both of those guys doubled, so he was doing his shorter route for the first time. He says, "I couldn't believe Gabe, gassed by those two guys and stuff."
It's
So
unbelievable.
they had him covered, and that's just the league. It's
That
just,
is.
And
But-
thank
but-
God
but-
we got a pitcher.
But you got the pitcher who
Right,
into the wind throws it 45,
Right.
50 yards in the air on a dime.
right.
That's
It just-
unbelievable.
it is unbelievable.
He's crazy.
You gotta love the guy. Just love him.
Just love him is right.
And the O line gave him a lot of time to throw in the game.
Did.
Good protection. I think we had our line intact.
Yep.
For the game for
We
the
did.
first time
First
in quite a
time.
bit.
Yep.
And I
They
think the
played
running, the game will come on. Eric Wood, and I can't explain it good. He was explaining part of the problem with the Bills' running game in the fact that, well, one, the line hasn't been together,
Oh, the RPOs too.
and that run-pass option and how difficult it is, and how much kudos. And my daughter's boyfriend Mike was also explaining how Josh has to be aware of the lineman being downfield and how
On an
quick
RPO.
thoughts you have to make. And it does hurt the running game, and also the fact the Bills are in shotgun a lot, which kind of dictates where the guy's getting the ball.
Where he's getting the ball.
I'm not good at explaining it, so I won't right now. But
No, I think you said it. I mean, the other thing is about the RPOs is that when he gets the ball, Josh, and he puts it in, let's say, Singletary's gut, okay, now he's got to decide, am I taking it out or not? By
Right.
that time, you see a lot of
Right.
defensive jerseys around.
and those linemen, he's got to also think that if he's going to throw, you might have linemen who are blowing off the ball
That's right.
in that man downfield situation.
Yeah. Illegal man downfield. Now, we learned last year that that is only illegal if they're not engaged. If you're if you're blocking a guy and you're shoving him back and you're engaged, you can be 6 yards downfield.
And go
Which
back
is
to
interesting.
something you said about the D line too. We've now faced the big guy in Tennessee, Henry.
Henry.
Now Najee Harris, and they really didn't do much against us.
No.
The Bills, that front is really doing a hell of a
Oh,
job up there.
we-
All of them, you name them.
You name them. You can name everyone, but the thing that really was it for me is getting rid of that Samoan and bringing in Daquan Jones. And what a difference.
Yeah, it's disappointing with Star Latulele. When he first came in, he was a
good plug up
beast,
the
but I
middle.
think missing the year and he didn't do what I think they thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
And Daquan Jones and this Settle and Jordan Phillips and Eddie Oliver.
You can name them all. They're all great.
Yeah, I don't. And,
We got to have the best 10 linemen in the league.
and then throw in the guys that they've shuffled in off the practice squad, Brandon Bryant, or what, and then the other guy's name, and forgive me.
No, but we just signed him to a 1-year real deal.
Right.
Because we had waived him after the game, and that kid can play.
Bryant.
Bryant.
What about the other one? It was like a Lulu or something.
Yeah. Lily. Yeah. I think
Ali or yeah.
he's on the practice squad.
He's back. I mean, kudos to all those guys.
Oh, my
and
God.
Again, Brandon Bean and the staff. God
Wow.
Almighty.
No, just a fun football game to be at again. Just really cool. And now here we go. We're Kansas City again. Tom, you told me something, and then I looked it up.
Yeah, if we will, everybody, be playing Kansas City next year in Kansas City.
But here's what will happen. If next year, the 23-24 season, we win our division and Kansas City wins their division, they come to Buffalo in 24-25.
Right.
So it's coming. It's just that it was a weird thing that we played the AFC West. It was their turn.
Right.
Then it was we were both number one, and you go 2 years in a row
Right.
to that team. It's kind of wacky. Their algorithm's kind of wacky, but we're going to be here. We're going there this Sunday.
Right.
Then we're going to go next year, and then if we're each number one, if
We're
we
going
do
to
play
see
each
a
other.
whole lot of the tomahawk. Let's just say
Yeah,
that.
Shout out to Chris Szymanski, who's going with his dad Jerry. They're going to be in KC. Good luck, buddy. Bring home the dubs and duck those tomahawk chops, okay?
Right. Because you never know where they're coming from.
Da, 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 da.
Let's see. That's about it with the Bills. Oh, and who would have thought? I mean, we all were hoping at the end of this tough stretch, 4-2. I mean, if we don't beat Kansas
Even if
City,
we lose
it's
4-2,
not bad.
I think we all sat there looking at this, I don't know, gigantic stretch where 4 of the first 6 were on the road against good teams, and except Pittsburgh. And I think you'd have to say, I had even one point said even if we somehow squeaked out 3-3, and I said that because as I look at the second half of the season, there's teams there we should beat. That doesn't mean we will. So anyway, 4-2 at worst. 5-1 would be with that gauntlet.
Right.
5-1 would be amazing.
And knowing that somewhere down the road we're going to have a stinker against somebody that we didn't count on, but one at a time. And I love the way they focus, like that source that you were talking about. They just talked to Shakir, and Chris Brown said to him, everybody probably really heating up against Kansas City. He goes, only because they're the next game.
Next game.
They are focused on one game at a time. So the plan, who sat out, who didn't, it's all part of a long-term plan, right? To have everybody as healthy as we can at the time when we really need everybody.
Man, it's they're just such a great football team. Like we said before the opening kickoff of Game 1, enjoy the ride.
One other quick comment too from the weekend. People were bemoaning the fact that in the media now that Edmonds was out. After we heard for so long, let Edmonds go and get weapons for Josh.
Yeah.
Now it comes out from these same
Why
people.
is he sitting?
Well, he plays so good sideline to sideline. His size makes quarterbacks throw up and over. He's deflected how many passes for interceptions?
Can you say hypocrisy?
Yeah.
No, they don't want to re-sign him, and then they're like, "Oh my God, how can we play without him?"
And the bottom line, 53
Dotson played well, by the way.
53 played very well. 43 played well, and so did the kid from
the 7th rounder, Balin
Spector.
7th rounder. Man, we got guys coming in and out that just play football. Now I know it was an undermanned and under-talented Pittsburgh team, but this is pro football, and they got some receivers that can flat out play, and running backs.
Don't be surprised. I don't know who Pittsburgh plays this weekend, but they could go in and put a bitch slapping on somebody, and well, where was all of that, right?
Exactly.
I'm a little surprised that we didn't see Trubisky, only because of the familiarity he had with the Bills D and stuff. But they went with the kid, and we'll see what happens.
I guess especially in that kind of a blowout, but I guess what that tells me, I can't even speak, is Tomlin is basically saying this is our guy.
And I don't quite get the genius there going for that 3 there late in the game.
Oh my God.
What was that doing for him? Wouldn't you want to see this quarterback, what he could do in a
Exactly.
I don't know.
That's insane to kick a field goal there.
Yeah, me too. And it went wide, right? It was the wind took it or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Sabres.
Bills. I think the Bills win Sunday.
I go with the Bills win too.
Okay, Sabres. They start tomorrow. Super exciting time of the year.
Ottawa.
Yeah, Ottawa. Looks like they could be our nemesis down the road. Not right now because they're kind of in the boat we're in.
Well, they got the Brinkhead. They went out and got Kirby Doc, and then they grab the old guy, Giroux.
Yeah, they did, and
I think he's on the way down. But that the Brinkhead can score goals.
He did with Kane,
and they got Stutzel coming up.
I think that kid's going to be a really good player.
I drafted him last night.
He's going to be a really good player. The Brinkhead scored a lot with Kane. Let's see what happens there, right?
Yeah.
But I love the signings. They extended Coach Granato today, and they extended Samuelson.
Yeah, I mean, that one shocked me. I'm not mad or anything. It just shocked me when I opened up and heard that we extended Samuelson, who's played 54 games in the NHL, 7 years, $30 million. You know, you get two things like, oh my God, I hope he can continue what he's doing because he plays really well. But secondly, you got to go with the other thing, which is I trust them. I trust our GM and our coach. And getting this guy at $4.5 million a year, a little bit under 4.5, that's a steal.
And like we've said here before, the Sabres have put themselves well below they're nowhere near cap trouble, right? And
they know that their other two stud defensemen, Dahlin and Power,
and
they're going to break bank.
And instead of going out and Dylan Strome or throwing money at this guy and that guy, they want that money for their guys. They're hoping that Middlestad, Cousins, Krebs.
And don't think that Krebs,
Reach.
Quinn, and Paterkin, these guys don't see that and go, man, all I got to do is play here.
Well, the Sabres picked up the line from the Bills. We draft and take care of our own, and it's a breath of fresh air. We know that the free agent market doesn't help you. In
Leno.
It's really not big in hockey. You throw a lot of money.
Hockey's a lot worse than football. These guys are usually way on the downside.
And why is it?
Because they're too old.
And it's guaranteed money. This John Tavares is a ball and chain around Toronto's neck.
Yeah.
And you're getting these guys at 27, 28.
Right. Then you're giving them $7, $8, $9 million. then for 7 years, because they don't want 2 or 3 years because they know they'll be cut.
Right.
The guarantees we've talked before are just destroying that league.
And Samuelson now he's taken a little bit, probably more than he would have gotten
Mm-hmm.
because we're
In
extending.
the short term, but in the
Right.
longer term, he's taking less if he's good.
And the key point is
It's a crapshoot.
right. And the key point is that he was willing to do it. We've had young studs here before
Mm-hmm.
that weren't willing to do that.
Just wanted bridge deals.
And they're buying into this, and it gives us some cap certainty because yes, Darlene's going to be coming due power, and we're hoping that these other guys do reach for that money.
Yeah, and if they get it, they deserve it because they're all young and talented. We'll see what they do.
A 6'6", 240 some pound defenseman that hits the snot out of you. Now the fear, does he get injured? Whatever. He's a good skater.
You know,
It's a risk on the Sabres part, and on the kid, but
well, you got to roll the dice.
you got to roll.
And that's why you pay a guy like Adams and his team to say this is worth doing or
and
not.
and like you said in our meeting before the show,
Great meeting.
Samuelson, for some reason, if he wasn't able to, or he hits a wall or something, it's a lot easier to trade a big defenseman
For $4 million a year.
than
$4 million.
maybe a forward or something or whatever.
No
So-
question, especially at that price, right? Somebody will take on $4 million, but they're not going to take on 8, 9, 10. You know,
And Donnie Granato, thumbs up.
Oh,
I
my
know
God.
the woke community does not like thumbs up. They
Yeah.
think it's brutal.
here's what I think
But-
of woke.
Right. So, anyways, looking forward to the Sabre season.
Me too. I'm excited. Although tomorrow they're going to have the red carpet at 4, but it's supposed to pour.
Yeah, it's supposed
Figures.
to rain, but I'm sure they'll have.
I'll get
stuff
down
set
there
up.
about 5 because I want to get that Sabre flag.
Yeah, that's supposed to be really, really cool, and just an exciting year.
I'm excited.
Not like for football, you want it so bad, and we're so close. Hockey, it's kind of like, let's watch and see what we got. Let's watch
That's-
the guys develop,
I said, be entertaining and let's see some growth.
and they've
That's all.
showed me nothing but that.
Nothing but that, and that's kind of what I'm looking at.
Their farm team played very well last year. Had a nice little run in the playoffs, not as long as we would have liked to have gone. But ran into a guy playing out of his friggin' head in goal. The son of one of our ex-Sabres. What was his name? Primo.
Oh yeah,
Primo's son was playing goal and it just stonewall us. And
yeah, that was
kudos
tough.
to him too. But want to see how Quinn and Paterka and Victor Olofsson and Middlestad and who knows. And then the pipeline. You're going to see during the course of the year.
Rusak and some of these guys.
Rusak,
Tyson,
Tyler Kusak,
Tyson Kozak.
Luke. I forgot the names.
That's all right, but they're all down there and they're good.
Interesting thing. I was listening to Craig Anderson today,
Mm-hmm.
and they work on this goalpost to goalpost thing, and they call it a reverse V or something, where they push off and slide across to the post. That they're doing it now. Some guys are doing it now with their shins instead of their feet.
Okay.
I guess it's easier on their hips. Whatever. Craig Anderson said that he first became aware of the move when Hammond, who he played with in Ottawa,
Hamburglar?
came back from a clinic, and then they started learning it. And then when he was in Florida with Bakun and somebody else down there, well, anyways, what he was amazed at is UPL has 3 different ways of going post to post. And he said, you might not think that's important, but he says shooters are going to have a hard time
Wraparound.
figuring out that.
Yeah.
It's like he goes like him. He goes, I'm a one-dimensional guy of the way he comes across, but this UPL, he goes, this guy's got 3 different moves, and he goes, very very positive talk on UPL and how he's
Really good to
progressed.
hear.
And he had a great, really good preseason.
He had a nice camp of preseason. By the way, rest in peace, Joe Crozier.
I wanted to say that, yes, and Dave Dryden,
Dave
who passed
Dryden.
away a few days ago.
Yeah, that
Joe Crozier was an awesome guy.
Yeah.
I had the ability to meet him a couple of times at the rinks, coaching hockey and stuff. Not against him or anything, but just he was hanging around in the rink. He was just I got a picture with him. Just friendly, great guy.
Friendly,
from,
nice guy.
from what everybody says, just a great guy. Thoughts and prayers to his family and stuff. And I think his son coaches at
Yes.
Joe's.
He does. And you know what about those guys? What it means to me is that it's a little piece of our history gone. Like
Mhm.
you and I, that was 72, 73, 74.
Yep.
We were in high school, and now we're 64 years old. I mean, it just pieces leave you.
And
you know?
apparently he was like a regular down to Sabre offices even later after his coaching days.
That's
I
cool.
mean, they were telling stories about him today.
He loved it.
He just a great guy, and yet you're right. And Dave Dryden also
Dave.
nicknamed was,
Dave Dryden was.
and for some reason I have no idea why. Never had a
I
chance
know
to
it
ask him.
too. Here we go.
Unless, yeah,
Go ahead.
Sod.
Sod.
Why did he
Yeah.
grow grass? Who knows? But
Sod.
for our guys our age, he went against his brother Ken, who was a Hall of Fame
Famer.
goaltender
First
for the
time in
Montreal
history.
Canadiens.
Two brothers.
And and they 3-3 tie, and it was a big thing. Dave and Kenny Dryden and stuff, and it's kind of like you said, kind of our past. And Dave Dryden was a pretty damn good goaltender too in our early days there. So so thoughts and prayers for all of them too. Exciting to see what the Sabres can do.
Yep.
They named a postal captain,
Also as captain.
and A went to Darlene.
Darlene and Jurgensen's. I think that I thought all along when we got our producer there,
Aaron in the studio.
Aaron Mullen is making faces at me to get me to laugh. You're funny. So I thought they're keeping the seat warm for Tuck. I'm starting to think more and more. Not that that's out of the question. I'm thinking more and more it's going to be Darlene.
I've heard that too. I also thought Tuck was going to possibly be it, but more and more they're trying to, I guess, and again.
Well, I guess he's really fiery. Like, he practices he comes in the locker room, he's not afraid to tell people, we got to get
Right.
better. Now, Darlene I'm talking about. So,
Yep.
quite frankly, maybe that's why
It was
he's on the list.
completely befuddled by that jackass soccer coach.
Oh,
But no, Darlene,
the fraud.
I agree with you. I first thought '89 was going to be the captain down the road, but I'm starting to think you're right. Could be Rasmus.
Rasmus Dahlin. It should be fun. I'm really excited about getting it going.
It is going to be fun. It's that time of the year. Unfortunately, can't
Yeah, it's going to start getting chillier.
Turn the
Today's
clock
74, but
turn the clock back. But
we'll be in the 40s, I guess. Late
Well-
next week, possible snow.
this planet is burning up.
Burning up.
It's completely burning up, and we've got to stop the fossil
We
fuels.
got it. And I guess Germany completely went away from everything else and went back to coal. Everybody's going coal. We're the only, again, the old pee in the pool scenario.
It reminds me of the time I used to sit at the kitchen table with my dad, and he'd say,
Tommy,
"Son, look away with those tinted glasses when you're looking at me." No,
you're burning a hole in me.
son, did you did you
It's
move
all-
something in your pants again? No, we're gonna finish up with a little politics here.
Good.
I'm a little miffed at a few things here. By the way, 3 police officers in Philadelphia serving a murder warrant were shot down today because we now have to schedule.
Hit the
And
schedule.
what's good for you,
You
what's
got to
good for
knock
me.
so that the bullets can then come right through
We
the
have to
door.
make every house in the neighborhood has to be announced and warned, and you set up a good time for everybody.
Yeah.
2 other police officers shot pulling over a speeding car in Chicago.
Tom,
200
that's a great place.
255 law enforcement officers have been shot this year.
Disgusting.
Under this shit stick.
And that's all under BLM. That's
It is.
that's these Antifa and BLM. They're basically saying white supremacy and the police are the devil.
Systematic white racism.
Racism. Yeah.
Yet, I gotta keep going here.
Yeah.
We're gonna start a new line today, a new part of the show. We're calling it Straight from the Hip Landline, and it's gonna be our line. And my idea today is this fentanyl that's been coming across the border. Joe tells us everything's wonderful. Amtrak Joe.
Yeah.
Do you know that the family of the conductor are furious because that whole story he told isn't true?
He lied.
There's no idea.
He
They
lied.
have no idea who
The
this
guy
asshole
makes
is.
stuff up, and he's done it his whole life.
But this fentanyl's coming over, and they caught somebody in Florida with so much fentanyl it could kill half the population of the state.
U.S.
They just caught somebody in New York City with all this fentanyl disguised as Halloween candy.
Yeah, it looks like candy,
Right.
and it's stamped to be the person looking at it thinks it's oxycodone.
Here's what I say. This is our straight from the hip landline. Spelled L-Y-N-E. Anyways, you get caught distributing fentanyl,
Mhm.
you've got to take some.
He's got to eat it in front of us.
Yep. The guy that's running the whole fentanyl operation is a member of MS-13.
Oh.
He's incarcerated in a U.S. prison. He's operating from his jail cell.
So just should kill him.
Why isn't he Epstein?
Kill him. Let's get him hung.
Epstein hung himself
Yeah.
because he was about
Clinton.
to say how many
Clinton,
8-year-olds Clinton was touching, and others.
Others.
Why isn't this guy Epstein?
I like that.
Is somebody
You're making a verb. I've
is,
seen him.
is somebody escaping? Boom, biddy, bam, boom, bam, beam. This guy is running a fentanyl. So if you're caught
Gendering?
no,
Transporting.
transporting fentanyl, you got to take some.
Take some. Have a little candy.
Got to have some. You want to put a nip in
And
that
no,
real quick?
and no Narcan.
Oh
Well-
yeah, right. You want to put a nip in that real quick?
Yeah.
There you go.
But we don't do that because we're civilized.
No, the border's wide open. We're being invaded.
Oh, by the way, so the New York City, they want to send thousands up to Niagara Falls, New York. Get them out of New York. After they built their little tent cities, now they
Now
want
they
to
wanna
send
put
them
'em
to
here.
Niagara Falls, New York, yeah.
One of the 9 wonders of the world. We're going to have
Well, there's
human bowel.
seven wonders. But
No.
Now, by the
No.
way, they did say, the mayor came out and said, look, we're all for human rights and everything. He goes, we don't have an infrastructure here to take thousands of people. We just don't.
Out.
Out.
Out. Out.
And shout out to Mark Flaytek, who I don't know how many times, probably 10, 11 times this week on vacation near San Francisco. He's probably stepped on human bowel.
He's got to scrape it off like you would dog caca. It's all over the streets
It's
of San
all
Francisco.
everywhere. Wasn't that a show? The
It's-
streets of bowel system.
Wokeism is taken over now. They want to put an end to Halloween.
Oh, All Hallows Eve? It's called?
Halloween, it's scary. It's promoting the devil. Yet,
Oh, no.
we're all for abortion when the baby's born.
All the way up. All the way
All
up.
right? White,
Wham, kill it.
white systematic racism because of slavery. By the way, the Biden administration,
I love
$62 million
I love
to change the name of forts because these names of the
Are racist.
Civil War is bothering people.
Changing
Who
forts
is
six-
thinking?
that. $62 million.
Most of these people don't even know what Bragg was. Now we got Fort Liberty, Fort Side Saddle, Fort Clambake. It's ridiculous.
By the way, 80, count them, $80 billion to the Ukraine. It's time to stop writing the checks. Everybody else needs to help. And let's take care of Florida where people are living on sand.
This guy got us on the brink of a war, which we were told Orange Glow was going to do. Well,
Right.
shit stains is doing it.
Yeah, shit sticks
And
to
listen,
them.
wokesters, you're the ones getting drafted to go fight because the military is pitifully down.
No, we got trannies.
And we
and
can't
everything.
fight the gooks and the Russians and all that with the handful of poor people we got left.
No.
So it's going to be a draft, and
Be a
you
draft.
wokesters, hey y'all,
Get ready to fight.
Oh no, you didn't.
Get ready to fight.
Because shit
get
stick.
Put away your tie-dye shirts and get ready.
We're sitting on top all the gas and stuff we can use, and yet we're begging Iran and
Saudi.
Venezuela. Now they're mad at the Saudi Arabians.
Now they're mad at Saudi. So he comes out yesterday and says there'll be repercussions. Well, you're going to get us in a war.
Drill our oil here and hell at
Just,
everybody.
yeah, put the walls up.
We
you
have-
know who had an idea to put walls around the country? You know who had that idea? Trump.
All we hear about is what he inherited. He inherited
A great situation.
a
and a vaccine for a
pandemic that
pandemic.
was created by the guy you stopped and blew.
Yeah.
All right? Father Fauci.
Father
created
Fauci.
the whole
And
thing.
you were left with a vaccine.
You were left with a vaccine and the economy bouncing back. But really, seriously, I've built back faster than any president. No, you're the worst president that's ever
Ever
been
sat in the Oval
president.
Office.
Horrific.
Ever sat in the Oval Office. And he tweets every day 47 things about how wonderful he is. And today, this morning, he's got a picture of him petting his dog in the Oval Office. I don't give a flying shit. You are completely mindless. Okay? Oh my God.
Guys, here's what's scaring me, right? Recent poll in
What's scaring you?
Pennsylvania. Dr. Oz
Oh, yeah.
and this Fetterman,
Yeah, the guy with the hoodie.
this jackass who's never worked a job a day in his life. They have him tied.
They're tied.
He's for emptying the prisons, taxpayer-funded dope centers, abortion at any time,
Anytime.
including after it's born,
Yep.
stopping of fracking, which is Pennsylvania's money,
Yeah.
incarcerating oil executives and meat executives,
Yeah. No, you can't eat anymore.
and defunding the
Methane
police,
gas.
right?
And this guy's
And
tied.
it's tied,
I'm sorry. You've got to be kidding me.
and it's got nothing to do with the fact he just had a stroke. But it took an interview yesterday took almost 3 hours to explain the questions. to him. How is he going to do that in Congress?
No.
God bless him.
Is it Congress or yeah? It's
Is it
Congress.
I don't know, but
Or is it
why
government?
is it closed?
I don't
guys?
remember. It shouldn't
Why
be.
is it closed? And yes, they're bringing up stuff on Herschel Walker. And in a perfect world, yeah, Herschel
Yeah.
Walker's probably not a guy you want to run against, but he's running against someone that's friggin' worse.
He's worse.
Raphael Zernak.
Yeah.
And this George Soros asshole. Guys, crime is running rampant. But thanks to Kathy Hochul, good friend of mine, hit a deer the other day because deer hunters have to turn their guns in.
Yeah.
He hit. He wasn't hurt. His car was totaled.
Can't shoot.
There's all these deer running wild now because Kathy Hochul, Buck Teeth Kathy,
Bucker.
has taken the rifles away from the deer hunters.
I will stop crying.
It's unbelievable. And by the way, the shot at Zeldin's house.
Yeah.
Right. What
You
did
point
she
to Long
say?
Island?
I